Very warm welcome to the top three qualifiers for the FIA Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix. In third place, Max Verstappen. In second place, Carlos Sainz, and taking pole number 23 of his Formula One career and his fifth of this 2023 campaign, our pole sitter, Charles Leclerc. Charles, very well done. It's been a very dominant performance by you throughout qualifying and the weekend. Just how good is the Ferrari around this racetrack, first of all?
Well, to be honest, I felt confident from the first lap in FP1, so the car has been great. Having said that, we're always very strong in quali, but then we obviously know that our weaknesses are in the race, and this is still to be seen tomorrow. But the car has felt great overall until now, so I really hope we can have a good race tomorrow.
You were fastest in all three segments of qualifying. You did just say a moment ago that Q3 didn't pan out as you'd hoped. Tell us a little bit more about those last two laps.
I'm not happy with Q3, but at the same time, you can only be happy when you are on pole. So I think in Q2 it was probably the best laps I've done in a while. Both of them were really, really good. Then in Q3 I didn't put things together, and I was always losing a tenth here and there, but at the end, I managed to do more or less the same lap time as Q2, but I think there was quite a bit of track improvement, so I should have gone faster. The car have felt great again. But yeah, it's the way it is. It's always tricky on street tracks, but I enjoy this qualifying session. I mean, how can you not enjoy when it's going all well like this? And the car felt really good again, so it was a good session for us.
How difficult is it to drive the car on the limit around this track? How easy is it to overcook it?
Well, I think what was most difficult was to put the tires in the right window. As soon as you were a little bit out, then the first sector will be miles off. So that was the most tricky part with qualifying. But at the end, I think we did a good jump forward on that, and we prepared qualifying well, because in FP3 we were struggling a lot with the first lap on the tires, and then in qualifying we did it well. So we did a really good job as a team.
All right, let's throw it forward to tomorrow's race, today's race actually. How much confidence do you have for this Grand Prix now?
Well, the confidence is high because we are starting first, so it's the best position to start from. On the other hand, we know that Red Bull is going to be very strong, and Max obviously is going to be very strong in race pace. But I feel like we've had positive signs this weekend on the high fuel, more than other races. So I hope we can convert that pole position into a win.
All right, and you are the first pole sitter here in Las Vegas this time around. Just a word on the track. How satisfying is it to drive on low fuel?
I personally enjoy it. I mean, street tracks are my favorites. When I first saw the layout, I was like, oof, this is going to be a boring track. But then when I actually, from the first laps on the simulator, it felt good. And I like the curb riding there is in 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think it's a good track. I hope it will produce good racing. Yesterday it wasn't as easy as I would have expected to overtake, but let's wait and see tomorrow.
All right, good luck with that. Very well done today. Thank you, Charles. Carlos, coming to you now. What a 24 hours it has been for you. Tough Friday, but have you had the same confidence in the car that Charles has?
And I think it's fair to say Charles maybe was a bit a step ahead in confidence this weekend, but coming into Q3, I felt like I did a good step. I think as a team we didn't, deliver maybe the maximum lap time that the car had available today. I think if I put all my corners together, definitely 30-5 or something like that was available in the car, which it is 33 or 32. I don't. 32 is too much, no? 33?
Yeah, it was already.
What lap time did we do?
I don't know.
32,
but it was already too much. So
something like that. But yeah, look, we're not gonna complain. We're first and second in qualifying. We've been flying all weekend. We dominated every session, and yeah, I just wish I could fight for the win tomorrow. But unfortunately, I'm starting 12th.
Are you surprised by Ferrari's pace here?
No, I think when I saw the layout, I think I said it at the beginning of the weekend, except for turn 1s and 2. Everything else is a mix between Monza and Singapore, which has been our strongest tracks this season and where we've been on pole and winning. No, so when I saw it, I said we have a good chance of going for pole. Then the race pace, like always, is a question mark for us.
Tell us a little bit more about your expectations in the race with the grid penalty. I mean, How good a racetrack is this?
Well, as Charles said, we all expected maybe overtaking to be a bit easier. I think the track itself has been very tricky, to follow people just because of the walls, the confidence you lose under the braking with a car in front. You cannot see the braking markers as well, and it's a bit more difficult to follow the cars. So, yeah, I think I'm expecting to move forward for sure tomorrow. How much or at what rate will I move forward? I don't know. Let's see also the strategy. The graining on the tires is quite bad, so let's see how that affects the racing and if it can give me any chance to get to the front tomorrow.
Tell us about the start. There was no opportunity to do a practice start at the end of FP3 due to the red flag. Will that make getting away from the grid a little bit harder to judge tomorrow?
I think we all have a lack of references. We only did one start this weekend, and hopefully the starts are better than Brazil. That were a problem, and I'm expecting to get away okay. It's just compared to everyone else how it will be. P2 to P12, dirty side here, I expect quite a big difference, so maybe the launch tomorrow will not be the strongest, so we will have to do it with overtaking.
All right. Great job today. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow. And Max, coming to you now. Can we start just perhaps talking about the grid following on from Carlos? Are you expecting the dirty side of the grid to be a lot slower?
Yeah, I think it's a bit like Austin when it was the first race there. It was also very bad on the inside, so that's not ideal. I mean, I was actually hoping maybe to be P4 because then I would have been promoted to P3, but that's how it goes. I mean, we'll just deal with it. Luckily, the run to turn 1 is not too bad, but if you have a bad start, you can still lose a lot of positions. So we'll work with that tomorrow.
And Max, how was the session for you? We're used to seeing you on pole in 2023. Are you a little disappointed, or do you feel you got the maximum?
No, the whole weekend, I think already we were not strong enough over one lap. So no real surprises there. And I think also in qualifying, I tried to do the best I can. I dropped the rear wing also, so it took probably a little bit of time to get into a nicer rhythm. But yeah, we were just too slow. I mean, by lapping in Q3, actually, I was quite happy with it. I improved quite a bit from Q2, and honestly, yeah, there was not much more in it. I mean, I don't think there was any corner where I lost time to my Q2 lap. I improved almost in every corner a little bit, and yeah, felt okay. Not good enough, but it felt okay. Of course, tomorrow is again very different. It's not about the one lap performance. It's about keeping your tires alive. There's a lot of graining on the tires, so yeah, hopefully, of course, we might have a little advantage there, or at least that we have a chance to fight them.
So what is the strategy tomorrow? Is it to be patient and let the race come to you?
It depends. I mean, honestly, I don't even think about it too much. You just ease yourself into the race, and when you see opportunities, you go for it. If they're not there, then you maximize what you have, and that's what we'll try to do today, tomorrow, or today, whatever. Yeah, you can call it. Probably still a bit jet lagged. And yeah, yesterday I think the long runs look good. So hopefully that will be the same in the race.
Final one. Can we get a word from you on the track? Did you enjoy driving it on light fuel?
Yeah, I mean, so naturally, I'm not a big fan of street circuits. So I prefer the higher speed tracks, like to really go on the limit of an F1 car. But I mean, out there when you're pushing on the limit, I think everything feels always quite exciting. So I think today was not too bad, but it's very low grip. I feel like it's a bit like Baku, and it has nothing to do with our car, being off or whatever, but I just don't really enjoy that you can't really push to a certain limit. Like, you're always just limited with the sliding, but that's my personal feeling, right? I mean, everyone has their own preferences. I do think that it looks amazing. I mean, what they have built in such a short time space, I think looks pretty incredible. And also the track itself, I mean, after the little issues, I mean, especially for Carlos, I mean, it was a big one. After that, I think they solved it quite well, and we got on with it. So I guess that's positive.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Max. Well done. Good luck tomorrow. Let's open this to the floor. First question, please. Name and publication.
Alex Kamalorkas, Autosport. Question to Charles, please. Just going back to the lap that got you pole, I wondered if you could just explain, were there any particular points that you felt you gained time compared to what you'd previously done in Q3? Where was the car really strong? Thank you.
It just was a cleaner lap compared to my first lap in Q3, and that's why I did a step forward from the first to the second lap. But all in all, both of them were weren't really clean. In Q2, the second lap in Q2 was a really good lap, and honestly, I just was trying to achieve exactly the same in Q3 and taking the track evolution and maybe gain 3 or 4 tenths, but I just tried to overdo it, especially on the first run in Q3, and there I lost a lot. And then in the second run in Q3, I managed to do it a little bit better, but there were still too many mistakes. So the 2 laps in Q3 weren't really good.
Thank you, Charles. Next one.
Frederik Hackbart, F1insider.com. The topic is Carlos' penalty, but actually I would like to have the opinion of the 2 other drivers on that, because I can imagine how he feels about it, especially Max from an opponent's point of view as well. You gain a place now through that, but what has to change from a driver's perspective that no one is punished like that for something that's none of his fault? Thank you.
The rules have to change for that. I mean, it's the same if you get taken out and you have a big accident. You can lose parts of, engine, energy store, all these kind of things. So, first of all, that needs to change. That these things can be taken into consideration. That if you can take a free, let's say, penalty or not, and it will not be counted. And besides that, I think the team should not be allowed to have a say in these kind of things, because for sure they're going to vote against that. I mean, per se, I do think it's very harsh on Carlos, but in this political environment that we are in, of course, every team thinks about themselves, and they are, of course, going to say no, he has to take the penalty.
Charles, can we have your thoughts?
I agree on everything.
Carlos, anything you want to add on this topic?
Yeah, I want to add many things, but I'm going to try and control myself a bit.
Okay. Next one, please.
Rodrigo França, Car Magazine Brazil. Question to Charles and Max. Congratulations for the results. You were very strong rivals in karting, and would you imagine in like 10 years after you would be in a front row battle for a winning in a Grand Prix in Las Vegas? And what memories you have in the battles of go-karting times? Who was the best one?
Well, I always thought that if I would make it to F1, Charles will also make it. You can see already from, I think, a young age, the really strong drivers, what they were back then, they're also in F1 now. So it's never been a surprise to me, that Charles is sitting here. And of course, then after that, you need maybe also a little bit of luck to be in the right team here and there, to get on the front row. But it's not a surprise that we are sitting here together, I think.
No, same, but at the same time, obviously, when you are young and you're in karting, Formula 1 feels so far away that for me it was obviously not a given that we'll finish in Formula 1 one day. We knew that. I think we knew that we were very fast because we were already competitive in karting, and whenever we will change categories, we will always be competitive. But it's still such a long way off Formula 1 that you don't really imagine yourself in Formula 1 yet. But it's amazing. I mean, I have. Really good memories, or the memories that are not that are less good, but that became really good with time. No, where then you get older and you look back at moments that maybe you didn't enjoy at the time that are very funny. So yeah, it was good times.
Thanks both. Any more? Yes.
Kevin Scheurer, motorsporttotal.com. Question to Max. Was it a conscious decision for your team to, let's don't call it give away the qualification to the qualifying today, to concentrate more on the race because of the potential graining problems the Ferrari might create?
In terms of tires or?
No, in terms of the general strategic decision to maybe say, okay, I don't need to be on pole position today to have a good race result tomorrow.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing with these regulations. I mean, you can pass. And for whatever reason, our car over one lap is just not always, it depends quite on, it's very track specific. Of course, sometimes we have some unbelievable qualifyings, but it really depends on what kind of corners there are on the track. And we know that in low speed, low grip conditions, cold temperatures, we are probably not at our best. and that's probably also a big strength of the Ferrari. So we knew that coming into this weekend that a pole position, that there would be a lot of competition. So it's just sometimes how a car works, you know, and it's how a car operates, and it's not something that you can adjust from race to race. So is what it is. But hopefully, with when tires are running hot and in the race, it will come back to us a little bit.
Thanks, Max. Yes, another one.
Andrew Benson, BBC Sport. Charles and Max. Obviously, Charles, you've been pretty resigned about Max passing you in every race so far this season, even when you've been ahead of him in qualifying. But this is a street track, and Carlos won in Singapore. Is there any hope at all of holding him off? And for you as well, Max? I know it's very different characteristics circuit in Singapore.
Yeah, exactly. I think in Singapore, in some places, you can drive 1.5, 2 seconds off the pace, and still the cars behind cannot overtake. So here it's going to be very, very different, and pace will have a much more important role in the race. So we have to do a good job on that. But until now, honestly, we looked quite good, stronger than other races. Not to say that we are stronger in race pace compared to Max, but I think we are closer than other races. So if there's one race to win in Singapore is this one, and I'll obviously give it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a little bit more like Baku. But again, in the race, I think it will depend a lot on who can keep the tires alive, or whoever grinds their tires more. So we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing. There's no sprint race to find out.
Thanks both. Yeah, let's have some more.
Adam Hay-Nichols from Metro. Question for Carlos. Sorry to push you on this, but you must think that it's madness that you're being punished for something that was ultimately the FIA's fault.
Yeah, when you put it like that, the thing speaks for itself, no? There was clearly a safety issue at the track. That safety issue destroyed my car. My mechanics had to invest 5 hours in putting together a completely new car, and on top of that we get a 10-place grid penalty for something that we have nothing to do for. Just simply disappointed, at the same time not surprised, because there's been many cases this year that I think the sport has proven that it can do things a lot better. And yeah, I think I'm surprised that the governing body doesn't have the power to, in cases of force majeure, to, let's say, overrule a bit in this kind of situations where it's so clear, no, that this something that is completely out of the team control, completely out of the driver control. But I don't know, the rules, the governing body, the teams. I don't know. I expected more from the sport in this situation. But for some reason, yeah, for sure there will be rival teams pushing for me to get a penalty, which it surprises me in a way. In others, I've been in the sport for too long to understand that it's business, like Max said, and there's too much money involved in the finishing position in the constructors or whatever for a team not to threaten to apply for a penalty for me. At the same time, I'm, yeah, as I said, not surprised. And extremely disappointed, and honestly very just upset with the whole situation, with the sport. Honestly, I'm very just upset, I think is the right word, and in a bad mood, because I just expected more from the sport in this case.
Thank you. All right, next one.
Alex Canlocus, Autosport. Question to all three drivers, please. Although Max, I know you've touched on this topic already. What is the feeling of like a full flat-out qualifying lap feel around here compared to other street circuits, particularly Monaco? That's always talked about as a particular highlight for drivers. So, what is the thrill like around here? Thanks.
Sure.
I mean, it's a bit of a different feeling than Monaco. Monaco is so intense. You've got no time to think. It's just from one corner to the other. The walls are extremely close and there are no way out. Apart from 2 or 3 corners around Monaco, all the others are really, you do a mistake, you are out of line, no grip, the wall, and that's it. Here it's a bit different. You've got ways out, and the grip is so low that even if you get out the line, it's not that you are losing a lot of grip. The grip is low everywhere, so you can still recover a little bit. As Max said, I think it feels a lot more like Baku, with more curb riding, which I like it. I mean, we've got a good car on curbs, so 7, 8, 9 feels really, really good, and I actually really enjoy this section where you can ride on curbs and also position your wheel in a clever way, trying to hook your wheel inside the curb, and these are things that I like, and it's a very technical track there. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
Carlos?
It's similar in a way to Baku, very long straights, very high braking circuits, very high braking scenario, where you have to really push yourself to brake those 5-10 meters later and gain the lap time. Monaco is more about the flow, and in particular in Monaco you have the apex walls, that you try and just almost clip them in the qualifying lap, while here I'm trying to think, but apart from turn 3, there's not any real wall where you can get very close to on the apex and hug the apex like you do in Monaco, which gives the driver the thrill a lot. So it's obviously here more overtaking opportunities, more open than Monaco, but I struggle to believe any circuit in the world will give you the feeling that Monaco or even, for example, Macau in F3 would give a driver.
Thanks. Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I think Monaco is like Champions League. It's a National League.
Any more?
For all three of you, Andrew Benson, BBC Sport again. What's been your view of the whole weekend so far? Everyone seems exhausted. No one knows what day it is. There was a very dangerous situation yesterday, but a very spectacular qualifying session today with, as you said, Max, a very spectacular backdrop. What's your overall assessment of this race so far?
Sure, let's start with you.
Well, I mean, first of all, I was obviously very... I was sad yesterday to see how much criticism there was around the track. Of course, it wasn't good enough, and that is clear to everybody. But obviously, we must not forget also how much work there has been from many, many people in order to make this event work. And I think it looks amazing. I think I really hope we have an exciting race tomorrow. In order to really show what Formula One is. And yesterday was obviously a pretty bad start, but I think it's an amazing venue for Formula One. As I said, we are a sport for sure, and we need to keep the DNA of the sport, which is the most important thing for everybody. At the same time, I believe that opportunities like this needs to be taken, and a little bit of show around the track to attract people that maybe wouldn't have come to a Formula One race is needed. And so you always need to find the right balance, between show and sport, and that's why I'm not so happy about the show just before the race, because I think this is a time where we need to focus on what really matters, which is racing. On the other hand, I think the venue and the event looks amazing, and there's been a lot of hard work in order to get there, which has to be appreciated. And then at the end of the weekend, we'll obviously look back at all the things that didn't go well in order for these things to not happen, because it is clear that it's not acceptable what happened in FP1.
Yeah, I think we need to learn to separate things. I think there is the sport and there's the show, and I think you can have both in a good combination and harmony, with the opening ceremony, with all the show around the Grand Prix, on all the hotels, all the VIP access. I see the race as a very good opportunity for F1, and I think F1 it's a good thing that F1 is coming to Vegas, and I'm enjoying the experience of coming to Vegas to do a Formula One race. Then there's the sport, and I feel like as a sport we cannot fail in these important events, and I felt like we started on the very bad foot yesterday, and I think it was a very good opportunity to make a statement as a sport and to open Vegas with a very good image and with a very good attraction to everyone. And in my opinion, I have people that have never come to a race that are still asking me why am I getting a penalty for what happened, and they've never been to an F1 race, no. And people, very influential people that are important, but also all the fans that couldn't attend yesterday. On FP2, there's, I think, separating the two things. I'm all for the show, all for the growing of the sport, but the sport has to be there. And I feel like yesterday we didn't start on the right foot. I paid the price by far the most of it, and I hope that tomorrow we have an exciting race, as Charles said, that F1 shows the whole world, what we're made of, what kind of racing we can produce, what kind of spectacle, and what kind of sport we are. And if this goes well tomorrow, hopefully FP1 will be forgotten. My penalty not, but the FP1 will be forgotten, and we will enjoy a good weekend. And I think overall it will be positive, a positive weekend for F1.
I can go on for a long time, but I feel like, of course, a kind of show element is important, but I lack emotion. And for me, when I was a little kid, it was about the emotion of the sport, what I fell in love with, and not the show of the sport around it, because that's, I think as a real racer, that shouldn't really matter. I mean, a car, first of all, a racing car, Formula 1 car, anyway on a street circuit, I think doesn't really come alive. It's not that exciting. I think it's more about just the proper racetracks. When you go to Spa, Monza, these kind of places, they have a lot of emotion and passion. And for me, seeing the fans there is incredible. And for us as well, when I jump in the car there, I'm fired up and I love driving around these kind of places. And of course, I understand that fans, they need maybe something to do as well around a track. But I think it's more important that you actually make them understand what we do as a sport, because most of them just come to have a party, drink, see a DJ play or a performance act. I mean, I can do that all over the world. I can go to Ibiza and get completely shit-faced and, have a good time. But that's what happens, and actually people, they come and they become fan of what? They want to see maybe their favorite artist and have a few drinks with their mates and then go out and have a crazy night out. But they don't actually understand what we are doing and what we are putting on the line, to perform. And I think if you would actually invest more time into the actual sport, what we're actually trying to achieve here, as a little kid, we grew up wanting to be a world champion. If I think the sport would put more focus onto these kind of things and also explain more what a team is doing, throughout the season, what they are achieving, what they are working for. These kind of things I find way more important to look at than just having all these random shows all over the place. For me, yeah, it's not what I'm very passionate about, and I like passion and emotion with these kind of places, which I love Vegas, but not to drive in a fun car. I love to go out, have a few drinks, throw everything on red or whatever, to be a bit crazy, have nice food. But like I said, emotion, passion, it's not there compared to some old school tracks.
Thanks all three of you. Very well done. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.